I tried to do this one time before, and I couldn't get it uploaded. So this is part two of the podcast I tried to make. I had a lot of reservations on doing it. Forgive me, my teeth are at the dentist. I dropped a kid off at school and my teeth off at the dentist this morning. Excuse me. They put me in a liner so that I don't have to use that denture cream or that like Fixodent stuff like that. So I should have waited and done the podcast when I got my teeth, but so many people's been waiting for this. So I felt like I owed it to y'all to just sit down and start over and do it. When I was doing the first podcast, I asked myself, how would I explain to y'all who I am? What made me? Who was the man behind the notorious name Rooster the Goat? So I started with in the beginning, I was a kid. And I got to thinking, that's just a story. Anybody could tell a story of, who someone is like that. That's not what I think y'all are asking. Y'all want a more in-depth thought of who I am. Do I like peanut butter and jelly over bologna? Do I like a rainy day or a sunny day? How do I feel about race and religion and politics and stuff? So I decided to start over and kind of tell you who I am, hit a few subjects of it, and if I hit something and get on and move on, and you want to know more about that specific, hit me up, send me a message, get a hold to me, say, hey man, you mentioned something, I want you to do an episode just on that. So I will. But just to put it out there, I am a religious person. I do feel I'm a Christian. And the way I say I feel I'm a Christian, a lot of people may feel I'm not because I tell jokes or because my choice of language. I cuss more than what I wish I would do. Uh, but in my own nature, I try to talk to God about that. I'm dealing with that. Uh, I don't feel you. I don't feel you are no longer a Christian if you cuss. I think it's just like anything else. If you overeat, that's indulging, it's engorging. Um, they say the Bible says that's a sin. Doing too much of a bad thing is where you break the line of if you hit your hand a hammer or you hit your hand with the hammer and you go, oh damn, that hurt. That's not what I don't think that's what the level of cussing, and you no longer a Christian is. If you out there and you F word this and F word that and you cussing people out for no reason, I mean it's a common sense factor. Because like the Pentecostal religion, women wear skirts. Have you ever been to a creek and seen a bunch of Pentecostal girls out there trying to swim in skirts? They damn near drown themselves. I don't think that's what God meant. I don't think that's what God meant when he said women are supposed to be presentable and should not wear erotic clothing. Okay, I get that. But if you think for 1 minute God didn't figure you was gonna put on a pair of cut off shorts to go swimming so that you can enjoy The lake that he made for you to enjoy, the pond that he created for you to enjoy, go swimming in, and you're gonna go out there and damn near drown because your mind is so thin that you don't have the common sense to understand what that meant. I feel like common sense has to be in there somewhere. Now, to use common sense, you can be a Christian, non-Christian, or uh, of the devil, and that's going to guide your common sense. So I do believe everything you do, think, speak, see, all has to be godly. So let's clear that up. I am a God fearing person. I do strongly believe in God, and the reason I do that is because I've heard His voice before. I say I heard His voice. It was my voice that I heard, but I knew it wasn't me speaking. Between 7 and 10 years old, electric blanket. Back in my day, we had electric blankets, and I'm so glad they're not out there anymore. Or if they are, I don't know nothing about them. But it shorted out and caught fire. Now, the only other time I've ever heard of this color fire was in a burning bush. It was a blue flame. It was probably about this big around, which meant when I was between a 7 and a 10-year-old is in a fetal position, it covered me. All right, it was slow burning. And if there's any scholars out there that could help me better understand the religious side of this fire, please DM me, let me know. It was a solid blue flame. It went straight up, and it did like this just a little bit. It wasn't like an orange burning material fire like what you see, or orange or red fire. Now, when I've seen propane fires, it's also a blue flame, but this was a pretty blue. It just went real slow. It was majestic looking. It didn't look like a real fire. It either that or it looked like I was looking through a lens. Um, it felt like I had a piece of plastic or a veil or something over my face that I was looking through. I heard Roger, get up. Come on, man, you got to get up. Then a few seconds later, or what felt like a few seconds later, I heard Roger, come on, man, I can't protect us much longer. I can't protect us much longer. You've got to wake up. And I kind of come to, and I said, that's a fire. That can't be a fire. I'm dreaming. So I laid back down, and I heard the voice again saying, this is my last time, Raj. Roger, you've got to get up, man. I can't protect us much longer. And then I kind of woke up. I took my arm and I just moved, and the fire was like water. You know how you take a water balloon and you push in? I just pushed it over, stepped out of the bed. The moment my feet hit the floor, the entire bed engulfed in flames and then burnt up the wall. And then the wall fell off the back of the house. I made it to the door of my bedroom and I got my daddy. And by my calculation of the time of what happened from when I noticed it to the time I got to the door, we explained that to the fire department. And the fire department said there's no way that much damage was done in that short period of time. The wall had to have been on fire, the bed had to be on fire. They really said I got up out of that fire and walked out. I didn't see that much fire. I didn't see that much damage. I only seen the little bit of blue fire that was over where my legs were. From that day forward, I was then, and I'm always a believer. That's crazy, man. Um, I was in a bad wreck. I mentioned this in the first one where I wrecked my Ford Ranger. Uh, doing something my dad advised me not to do. Hard headed, not listening. And I wonder why my kids are hard headed today. Yep, wonder why my kids are hard headed today. Uh, I went to work for Department of Corrections. Man, I enjoyed it. I love that line of work. Uh, I mentioned my first wife passing away in my first podcast. I had been through a lot. Uh, House fire, destroyed everything. The kids that I own. I was when I found out I had a heart condition. I was a trip officer, and I went to sit. Well, we call it a sit down. When you have an inmate that is admitted into the hospital, and someone has to physically go and sit down with that inmate during his time or yeah his time of being at the hospital, or if it's a female, then female officers go. But I passed out with a mild stroke, and my heart stopped. So if people want to wonder why I'm not working or what do I do for a living, um, I was forced into a disability due to my heart. They don't know when the next heart attack's coming. They just told me enjoy my life and until it does. So while I was off, uh, I got me a riding mower and I was cutting the yard. Uh, I had cut, I had cut it to the point that there was no more grass to cut. And then at that point, I was just riding around in the neighborhood going to visit a partner of mine that lived on the other side of the subdivision, and he would ride his over to see me. So my wife went and did a rent to own on a laptop. She says, you need to go find something to do. She says, start writing a book. She says, you always love to write. She says, write a book, do something with your time. So on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, I thought of a good idea. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I put it on paper. And I had a 22,000 word manuscript done. I didn't do nothing with it. I just kicked it to the side. I felt so good doing it that I ended up writing four more. So now I had five manuscripts. After those few months went by, we decided, okay, we're gonna send them out. I reached out to several publishing companies over the phone. Yeah, send them in. Send your manuscripts in. Give us around 3 months, and we'll get a response back to you. So I thought, well, hell, Christmas is around the corner. That'll buy me some time. I'll forget about it, and we'll check around February. So we sent out. We got all five emails. Started emailing them out to I think it was 7 publishing companies. Between 11 days and 15 days, I got responses back from every one of them. We ended up publishing 5 books. It was doing great. I would buy my own books, do a book signing, sell out. Was doing good. Everything started slowing down and around COVID. So I told the kids, I said, hey man, I said, y'all big on y'all know how to do that social media stuff. I said, with the being COVID, so many people's gonna be on social media. I said, y'all need to go and pump these books. sell these books and I'll give you a proceed of whatever we make. Couldn't get none of them motivated to do it. So I did a video on TikTok that went viral. And people wanted to see more of who I was, what I was about, why I did the video. And that's what led to we that's what led me to being on social media. My wife and I was already at the time uh doing care packages for the homeless guys in the neighborhood. It was, like I said, it was around December. So around January, I think, it was starting to get sleety and rainy and cold. So we started filming what we were doing. This is before I had enough of people to go live. Man, it wasn't no time I was able to go live. And then it wasn't no time after that. It just kept climbing. It kept climbing. It kept climbing. And I think I got one account almost 600,000. And me being, I guess, the bad boy of TikTok, not following those biased guidelines, TikTok started banning me a lot. And then it got to where I had one video within 2 months' time got 48 million views. Once that, I guess, 5 days after that, 2 months, that a whole account was permanently taken down for sexual nature. They didn't explain to me what the sexual nature was. They just took the whole account down. I say it was so they didn't have to pay me. A lot of other people who are big and in communicating with TikTok also told me it was that they feel it was to keep from paying me. That account stayed banned for 1 year. I kept appealing it, kept appealing it, kept appealing it. I got an email back, or not an email, a notification back. After further review, we found that your account did not violate community guidelines and your live access is restored. Now, the common sense person would be like, I was punished, so I didn't get paid. I can understand that. But if you found out I shouldn't have been punished, let's go back to where's my money? If I was punished legit, then I lost the right to collect the money. But if I was punished and it was not legit, where's my money? When I started complaining about that and bringing that up, not only did I lose my big account, but I lost my backup account as well. So now I have no account. I've got one account that's 177,000. I can post videos, but I can't go live. Now, if I can post videos, that means everybody out there's got content that they can share around and get paid for. But I can't get paid because I can't go live. The account's considered not in good standing, so they don't have to pay me anything. I wish I could get a lawyer to see this and help me fight TikTok and get the money that they owe me and free my accounts up. So many people started following me. So many people wanted to hear more about how I felt. So many people wanted to know why other creators couldn't be like me. They was taking money in, taking money in, taking money in. And I started calling them out. Big King, some of these other people. They make this money and they don't do nothing with it. They're always flashing it. They're always flashing it. The Island Boys, always flashing it. You never see them doing anything. Now, they have a dude on there, Bless, well, I don't remember his name. He goes around and he puts money in Bibles, or he goes around and he gives people blessed or blessing. He was called out as being a hoax. Realize who you're giving your money to, people. He was called out. He was looked into and found that most of his stuff was set up. He asked waitresses pick a number and then he gives them a tip. Some of that stuff is hype. Never have I once asked for $1 that 50 cents of it didn't go back to help someone. Now, I wish I could go back and really think about how I was coming across to people. My content changed. I wanted so bad to help people that I feel like my content turned from being content and humor to all about money. But think about it. I had almost 600,000 followers, no contributors. Almost 600,000 followers, no subscribers. Excuse me. So had I been making money from my supporters, I could have kept content. It would have never went to trying to find a way to ask for money, try to find a way to generate money. When I'm doing this on my own, I'm appreciate the followers. Do not get me wrong. I appreciate the followers, but folks, I only make $1,700 a month. That's rent, lights, water, insurance. The social media thing that I do, if I don't make anything from it, I can't do anything with it. Um, I've been helped a long way through this. A lot of what I've gotten through help, and I've given back the resources that I've made. If I know somebody who needs something, I connect them to this other person. Um, like right here on YouTube. Um, I don't know if I got 20 or 30,000. It might be 22,000. Nobody's you know financially subscribing. So when I want to do something, I have to find a way to generate revenue. And I hate that it's that way. If I had a silent investor, somebody to go, Rooster, what could you do with about 5 grand? All right, this is what we could do. This is the chances that the risk we could take to make this much more money. All right, let's do it. And for that amount of content, I wouldn't have to. The money would never come up. Everybody used to tell me, "Oh, just go make content. The money will come. The supporters will come." All right, go make content. If I was to go to an area to do a meet and greet and cook some stuff, who's going to fund that? We'll fund the first one. The devil's working harder or as hard as I am. Because if I could fund the first one and get out there, I could possibly raise the money to do another one. Then it would feed itself. But I don't feel the devil's working harder than me because as long as I'm willing to get up and do the work, then the devil ain't stopping me. So I don't feel the devil's working harder than me. I just feel like the devil's working as hard as me. My wife got a phone call or probably a notification. But yeah, to know who I am, um, we know I'm a God fearing man. Everybody wants to know how I feel about race. I do see color, but I see color for the right reasons. I see white, I see black, I see brown, Asian, whatever color, yellow. I mean, God would want us to see these beautiful colors. Now, like Malcolm X, I think it was correct me if I'm wrong if it wasn't Malcolm X. Who said I have Martin Luther King? No, it might have been Martin Luther King who said, "May a man should be judged by his integrity and not his color." I think that was Martin Luther King. I feel that way. A person should be judged by their integrity, by their intentions, by their nature, and not the color of their skin. I worked in a penitentiary for so long that I've seen black men are at the top of the food chain and the white men is at the bottom, where in public it's the other way around. So I went to some of the elders, some of the convicts, and if you don't know the difference between an inmate and a convict is somebody that's accepting of the time they're doing. They over blaming, they already over all the issues that the crying, the boo-hooing, the white man held me down. They over all of that. They know they got time to do. They know they did the crime. They just want to be left alone and do their time. So I went to them, the elders, and I was like, your pants are up. You look neat. You don't leave the dorm unless you're looking good. You go into the dining hall, you got manners. You take your hat off. Nobody, I mean, you go in there and you belch in the kitchen or you fart in the kitchen, they'll beat you down. And I ask them, you live with such a high standard here, but in the street, it's like you can't even have manners or follow common ethics. Why? And I've been told that in the prison, it's the black man has wrote the laws and the code of ethics and the inmate rule book and the posture. So they enforce their rules. But in the street, they're white man laws. And it took me a while to understand what they meant by that. And then it didn't take me long to debunk it. White men's laws on the street are not all written by white men. You got a lot of politicians that are black, Mexican, any other color, female, whatever, who hate black skin just as much as black people think white people do. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You've got black politicians, black people who hate their skin and people that look like them so much that they are write a law against them. Now, how I feel about Democrat and Republicans. I feel like the Democrats crippled black people. I feel like the Democrats' biggest threat was a successful black man. Marinate that for a second. I think the Democrats' biggest fear is a successful black man. The reason being, you can't buy a black man. You cannot buy a black man. You can buy a white man for the right price. He'll sell his family out. For the right price, he'll sell his country out. You ain't gonna buy no black man. When the transition of slavery into being free, a true hardworking black man who controls his mind and he don't allow what that man's doing over there to bother him, whether that man is white or black. A true hardworking black man, a man of color, who don't put his nose in these people's business and he does his own thing, is the most dangerous thing in the world to the economy. Not in my eyes, the way Democrats see it. It's the most dangerous thing in the world. You know why? Politicians can't buy his vote. If he fools around and becomes a successful businessman, you're not gonna take his money. You are not going to break his home up. You are not going to stop his children from being educated. You are not going to stop his wife from being successful. Then if one does it, he's going to help another one out. Then you're going to have black people out of control. They're actually going to be civilized. Then you're going to have to share the world with them. Now, that's the way I wish it was. Me personally, that's how it should be. But when a Democrat kicked the door in and told a black female a long time ago, I will be your father, I will be your husband, I will be your brother, I will protect you, I will fund you, I will feed you, I will pay you for all the kids you have, but you have to kick that man out. The moment she sold her race out, they crippled the black way of life. And I'm gonna tell you something. Had that offer been made to the white man, he'd have did the same thing. I don't blame I don't blame the black men of that era for doing that as much as I blame the black men today of doing that. Let me say that again. The black men of that era who stepped out to see that their wife and woman and kids could be taken care of. I don't blame them for doing that as much as I see it today and hate it. There's no reason for them to do it today. None. No reason at all. But the Democrats have crippled the black way of life. And you're not going to get them to understand that. I wish they would. Now, grant you, on the other hand, I don't think Republicans are doing a bit of damn good anyway. But to stay on the topic of race, correct me if I'm wrong. If I had to put my finger on the most racist people in this world of my generation of today, if I had to go outside right now and point my finger at the most racist person out there, it would be a black female. There's nobody more racist than a black female. Not all of them. Now don't get on a rampage and go, I'm a black woman. He called me racist. I didn't specifically say Amber or Lakeisha or not. I didn't specifically say any specific one. I'm just talking about it in general. And I believe it's because they're hurt. They're pushing that Black Lives Matter. They're pushing this, that, and the other. And I believe it's because they're hurt. I believe it's because they see black men in prisons. They see that white social workers come and rip kids out of houses, and they see every time they see a badge, they see a white person. But who created the term Uncle Tom? Black people. Who created the term Jeffin? Black people. When a black man does right, when he goes to work, when he pays his bills, when he does right, his own color turns on him. Oh, you trying to live like you better than everybody else. You trying to live like you somebody. You trying to live like you white. No, he's not. Now, I'm not talking about the color black to bash anything. I want to support the black man. I want to support black people. So don't think that I'm sitting here talking about a whole color race. I haven't got on white people yet. So bear with me. I do support people of color. I do not support black people. And I'm substitute that for the N word. When I say black people, put in the N word. Now, the N word, the notorious N word, the taboo word that nobody can say. But so many people are making money off of it in their music. Hypocrites? I would say so. Why is it Hakeem can put it in his music every 11th word, but nobody can say it? White people can't say it. If a white person can't say something without pissing off a black person, ain't that reverse racism? To say Black Lives Matter and then to hear a white person go, all lives matter. Well, no, I speak for me and the white people that I know that we agree on. When a white person says all lives matter, they're not trying to say black lives don't matter. They're just saying white lives matter as much. Now, I think that the Black Lives Matter was a good thing, but I think it was hijacked. I think it was hijacked. It was good that black people stood up and said, we matter. We need to matter before you blow our brains out. We need to matter when you pull us over and you don't accuse us of this, that, and the other. We need to matter. I get that. Yay. You got your own month. Ain't no white people got a month. You do matter. If you don't wake up in the morning and you feel you matter, that's a self problem. Ain't no flag gonna make you feel better. You got a whole month and that don't make you feel better? What are we talking about? You'd have to go back and watch the whole thing. This is part 2 to a podcast. But what I'm trying to say is you don't need a flag to feel better. You don't need a day, you don't need a month, you need to surround yourself with people who think like you do and remind yourself that you matter. Now, I believe that the Black Lives Matter agenda was to try to do something good. But every time a black person gets something, another black person comes in, hijacks it, and tries to see what they can make out of it. It hurts me to see the definition of insanity in a lifestyle. Definition of insanity is to do something over and over and over the same way, expecting a different result. I don't think we have a race problem in this world. I think we have a culture problem. You take a white kid and a black kid and a Mexican kid and any other color kid, you put them in the country, you raise them together. They're going to go to the creek together. They're going to shoot BB guns together. They're going to ride horses together. They're going to ride four-wheelers together. They're going to leave their doors open, ride bikes together. And they don't see race. But you take them same kids, you put them in an inner city, they're going to be divided because the people above them were divided. And it's a cycle that needs to be broken. Those same kids are going to hate each other because that culture won't allow them to love each other. That culture will not allow them to love each other. That color kid used to offend that color kid, so them two can't get along because of that. Why? Because the people before them are so bitter because of what happened to them that the ones below them can't get along. Nobody's gonna break the cycle. Now, in politics, I don't think there's anything more crooked than a white person in politics because this color skin gives you keys to locks that you shouldn't be able to unlock. It allows you to be in positions simply because of the color of your skin. Now, a black person may not get a job because of the color of the skin, where a white person may get a job because of the color of their skin. And everybody thinks Obama was the first black president. And I don't agree with that because Obama had gotten away from black long time ago. There was nothing black about Obama. But because of the color of his skin, he was able to, or the people above him was able to give you something without giving you something. And anytime somebody gives you something who's not really giving you something, it's taking everything away from you. If I make you think I gave you something, if I said, here, take this empty bag, but to take this empty bag, you have to follow me and help me fill it up. There again, the Democrats robbed civilization. And they did it with a puppet. Working in that penitentiary, I got to see a lot about black and white. Because, see, in prison, there's only two colors. If you're not 100% white, you're labeled black. If you're Mexican, you're black. If you're Indian, you're black. If they give the blood test and they find out that your aunt, if your great grandma was black, no matter what your skin is, you're labeled black. If you're not 100% white, if I mean 100% white, you're labeled black. So, uh, my heart goes out to everybody, white, black, it don't matter, because I've seen both come together and both be ripped apart at the same time. And when I say a culture, I think there's nothing more successful in this world, nothing more successful in this world than a white man and a black female if they were in a couple, in a relationship. Because white men have a goal and they shoot for it. Black women can team up with that and roll with it. This is not to say white women can't. This is not to open up a door for white women to say, well, if white men were more supportive of white women, these are just thoughts that are coming out. This is stuff that how I feel. This don't take what I'm saying, and because I said this, you think I mean this. No, 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 no. That's no, don't think that because I said apples don't mean I don't eat oranges. Don't no. This is how I feel about this particular statement. Uh but I said that so that I could say this. When a white girl gets with a black guy, she gets the dreads, the tattoos in the neck, and she starts to live black, which is a culture. And this is what I've learned from black people. This is what I've learned from black people. I'm speaking this through the eyes of a black person. So I'm basically speaking to black people. So many black people's gonna see this and go, that man's spot on. Because I learned this from black people. When a black female gets with a white man and they move to the suburbs and they both holding good jobs, black people see her living white. When white girls get with black guys and they go into the hood and she gets dreadlocks, white people see her living black. It's a culture problem, y'all. It's not race. It has nothing to do with the color of nobody's skin. And I honestly think that as soon as we stop talking about it, it will eventually go away. But it's going to take us stop talking about it, or at least stop fighting about it. The only way we're all going to be successful is if we get a hold of these politicians and we either overthrow them or we get some people in there that's going to have our backs. It's going to be rough in the beginning. It's going to be rough. They may look like me and not look like they're going to defend black people. They may be black and not look like they're going to defend white people. You're not going to mop up a country-sized mess overnight, but you're not going to do it and be successful at it until you start. People say, white people didn't like Obama because he was black, and that's bullshit. Well, we didn't like Obama not because he was black, just because he was Obama. If Colin Powell would have ran for president, white people would have came out the woodworks and voted for him. And it ain't got nothing to do because he was he was a black guy that white people could think was living white. He was just a real man. He was somebody real. He was somebody that wasn't a robot. He was somebody that was solid. And that's what scares the government. The higher ups treat that as if he gets as high as we are, we're not going to be able to control him. So I said all that about race to say this. How I feel, what makes me me, we wouldn't be we wouldn't be who we are if we wasn't different. We just gotta stop doing what our ancestors done. We gotta stop doing what our aunts and uncles are doing. We gotta stop doing what we see the TV teaching us to do and stop hating each other. But I'm gonna tell you something. If a bunch of white people roll up and you're you're having a black cookout, or you're having a black get together, or and some white people roll up, don't be quick to judge both colors. Don't be so quick to judge white people that we're about to get robbed, we're about to get this. Black people, don't be so quick to be rude. Don't be so quick to prejudge. If Don't be so quick to think you have to change just because they showed up. If you're doing something, speaking of both colors, I'm talking to the white crowd and the black crowd. Everybody be quiet and listen. If you are doing something that you know is wrong, shut the fuck up when you're called out on it. Simple as that. If either of you are smoking that shit and you're disturbing the other ones, then stop. If either of you are doing something you know is wrong, or if your kid is wrong, respect the other person and shut the fuck up. Be about you. Rise above what you think is right and wrong and be decent. White people and black people. Don't be so quick to judge. And if you are wrong, own it. You know what? My bad. And I bet you'll see you'll get along with more people. Because let me tell you something, white people. If you're rolling up and you see the Johnsons are already there, and you smell a little bit of weed, and you see they're all out there doing something, don't go park right next to them. Not because they're black, because you know what they're doing is going to bother you. Go further down. Go somewhere else. They were there first. Now, I don't feel what they're doing is right. I don't feel smoking weed in a situation like that and all that, but that's beside the point. Black people, if somebody, y'all setting up at the same time, somebody walks over and asks, tone it down, what you're doing is coming over, don't be so entitled that we owe you anything. Don't be so entitled. You got that, bro. My bad. And I bet you we'll get along a lot better. Because I'm going to tell you something. The media has you thinking nobody likes each other. I don't see that shit. I go out in public, I don't see it. Social media and the TV and the politicians want you to believe we don't like each other. I heard a wise man say, you get a bucket of ants in this hand, a bucket of ants in this hand, and you put them in a container together, they'll live forever. But you shake that jug one time, them ants are gonna fight to the death. And they're fighting each other instead of biting the man who shook the jug. You put white ants, black ants, Mexican ants, whatever, in a jug and let the government shake it, the ants need to stop and realize who shook the jug. If I could leave you with this, I would say, stop fighting each other. The next time you're in a situation and someone opposite of you asks you to do something or to change, or if they're doing it aggressively, slap the fuck out of them. If they're doing it rude, handle your business. But if they're decent, you owe it to them to be decent. Because I strongly believe, thank you, Gordon. I strongly believe somebody brings you some shit, they need to fuck around and find out. But if somebody takes it, I'm going to overlook the fact that this dude is ignorant and don't know no better. Hey, bro, you mind doing something for me? Pull your pants up. You got your ass showing, and I got my wife and daughter here. You right, bro? Pull your pants up and walk off. Also, dude says, hey, man, you mind pulling your car up so I can get some gas? Black dude asks a white dude. And the white dude feeling like, no, I'll move it when I want to. And ram that son of a bitch and move it yourself. If somebody takes a moment, gathers their thoughts, and tries to do something the right way, just repay their efforts and be decent with them. That will single-handedly kill racism. Because racism is up here. You go to that NIC unit, 10 white babies, 10 black babies, 10 Mexican babies, 10 Iranian babies, not near one of them has a race issue. All them bitches are worrying about is change my diaper and feed my belly. Ain't none of this, I want to be a girl today, but I was born a boy. Ain't none of that bullshit. Don't even get me started with that shit. Ain't none of that racism, hating somebody because of the color of their skin. That shit is bred into a person. That's taught. And it's taught by mistakes that were made by people before them. You know, you might have got treated black because you acted black. I wasn't talking to black people. Listen what I said. You, meaning anybody, may have been treated black because you was acting black. Take a white dude with his pants hanging down. You think white people give a shit that he's white and they want to holler at him? They can't stand that white pants, that pants pulled down bullshit. You know, white people do not see the world the way black people think they do. And no one's going to ever understand that until people stop and think before they react. Wait a minute. This dude just asked me in a rude manner to pull my effing pants up, and he's looking all bowed up. Is it me he's got a problem with, or did the last guy he asked to pull his pants up give him some shit? Now, if you turn and go, bro, wait a minute. There's another way to ask me to do that. I don't mind you asking me to pull my pants up. You're right, my ass is showing. I like wearing them like that, but I'll pull them up. My bad, dog. The last guy I asked to do that gave me some shit. See, y'all two would be arguing over some shit that happened that don't even concern you two. What I'm saying is, the next time somebody asks you something, or the next time you have a conflict with somebody opposite of you, take a second. The reaction you give may not even be affiliated with the situation at hand. Now, I'm going to come back and the next podcast. I don't know what it'll be about, y'all, but I love all people, man. I hope that if I stirred a conversation up in the black community, you'll reach out to me. I hope if I stirred some curiosity up in white people, I hope you'll reach out to me. Or if you think something I've said and any of this is wrong, please let's talk it out. Because I only know from the experiences I've experienced. You only know from the experiences you've experienced. But if either one of us have information that could turn this around and somebody could learn something out of it, reach out to me. Because I'm going to tell you something about me. I was raised by an older black lady. She was a maid, and this is probably the only way I've ever referred to her as a maid. She was my Auntie B, and we called her Auntie B. But I'm only labeling her as a maid for clarity so that you know she was not a member of the family. But my mom and dad never paid her in front of us. Never. She showed up with her two kids, two little boys. They ate breakfast with me and my sister every morning. We caught the bus together, all four of us. We got off the bus together, all four of us. We ate lunch together, or whatever you would call it. We'd come in and eat a grilled cheese and drink something to drink, and then we'd do our homework, all of us together. That was the way it was for a long time. Certain holidays, she would come over and them boys, and we would eat. She was Auntie B's, all I ever knew. My mom and dad never paid her in front of us, never. My dad later come to tell me the reason he didn't was because he didn't want to put a cash value on her in our eyes. If someone pays you in front of a kid, you're going to send the signal that that person works for you. That person, she didn't work for me. She worked for my father. She wasn't there for me to tell her to do a damn thing. She was there to tell me what to do because my father paid her to do it. And it really opened my eyes up to respect somebody, even though they're different. Respect them. I got a lot of. I was raised by black culture, and I realized a long time ago when you're raised by black culture and have white skin, I really understand what black people mean when they say white privilege. When a black person says white privilege, it's not saying that I can go get a loan just because I'm white. It's not saying that I can go into a bank and I can get anything just because I'm white. What they're saying is I can act as black as they do, but my white skin gives me a pass. Even though I'm acting as black as they are, I get a pass and they get punished. Now, I think it's hogwash. I think it's bullshit. I've been denied an apartment in a black street by a black landlord because I was white. She didn't take the time to see how black I acted. She didn't take the time to see that I was okay with black people. She didn't take the time. She seen white skin, and if this person gets on this street, it's going to disrupt what we're used to. So I don't believe in white privilege. I don't believe that I can act as black as they do and I get a pass because I'm white, because I was acting as black as they were. I wanted that $300 rent apartment because it was cheap. I knew there was going to be some hood rat ghetto shit go down on that street on Friday nights and Saturday nights. I knew there was going to be shootings once or twice a week. I was okay with all that bullshit. $300 rent, I was going to get out there and act as ghetto ratchet as the rest of them. But my white skin didn't give me that pass. So I'm living proof their way of thinking is wrong. I can act as black as you are. My white skin ain't gonna give me no pass. So that's bullshit. I wish, I wish that thinking would go away. I know why they think that. I've seen it. I've seen that in other places because black privilege is what gave Obama the White House. It was time that the Democrats threw the black people a bone. It was time to say, we need to let y'all have a little something. We're about to lose control of y'all. So his skin gave him, he acted as white as me. He acted as white as me. But because of his black skin, he was able to be chosen for that spot. So that's black privilege. Come on, y'all. Let's end it with that. And it's just anything, please DM me, reach out to me. Like I said, y'all, these are just my thoughts. This is just my thoughts on life. I rambled a lot. Let's see what the next podcast is going to be like. Two for the love, one for the lost. Stay sexy, everybody. Reach out to me if you agree. Reach out to me if you disagree. Reach out to me and let's educate each other. But either way it goes, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, y'all. Help me be a better person. Help me be a better person. And if I can help you, then let's help each other. Deuces, gooses.